This is Johnny Dosco. Stay tuned for another Score Sheet podcast. Holy Kadelka!
Score Sheet Tom here with another fantasy football preview. And as we head into week 5 of the NFL season, one thing is clear. The NFL has gone bat crazy with the passing game. Each of the first 4 weeks has been filled with aerial shows like we've never seen, resulting in numerous quarterbacks topping 350 yards passing, and receivers like Wes Welker and Calvin Johnson putting up monster numbers. In week 4, Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers put on an incredible show that surely made his fantasy owners happy, throwing for 4 touchdowns, running for 2 more, and piling up 408 passing yards. Throwing the ball has become so pervasive that the Cowboys kept passing in the second half despite holding a 24-point lead, which of course quickly led to losing that lead since 2 of those passes were picked off and returned for touchdowns by the surprising Lions. A third interception led to the game-winning touchdown. Oops. And it came as no surprise that it was Calvin Johnson on the receiving end of Matthew Stafford's game-winning pass. Expect the aerial assault to largely continue in week 5. Although at least Tony Romo will be spared since it's the first bye week and the Cowboys are among 6 teams with the week off. The bye means that some guys will get into the starting lineup on your fantasy team that maybe normally wouldn't, so our focus will be on finding some good choices among those candidates as well as some players to avoid. Of course, for Score Sheet fantasy football owners, you don't need to remove a starter when they are on a bye week since our system automatically will plug in a replacement among your backups. This convenient feature saves you from possibly forgetting to plug in your regular starter when he returns to action next week. Okay, on to the preview. First, let's get to the guys worthy of a starting nod in week 5. In Houston, wide receiver Andre Johnson is expected to be out 3 weeks, which means Jacoby Jones should benefit with more balls thrown in his direction. Granted, he hasn't really lived up to expectations thus far in his NFL career, but with Arian Foster back, the Houston running attack should be effective, giving the passing game some opportunities to stretch the field. That's where Jones can excel. Quarterback Mark Sanchez was nothing short of horrendous last week in Baltimore, as was his counterpart Joe Flacco. But this week's opponent should offer some relief on 2 counts. First, with the New England Patriots' offensive scoring ability, Sanchez will almost certainly need to put the ball in the air often, which brings us to count 2. The Patriots' secondary has struggled most of the season, and their pass rush is nowhere near the level of the Baltimore Ravens. Add to the equation that this is nearly a must-win game for the Jets, and I expect Sanchez will step up with a strong performance. Defensive end Kyle Vanden Bosch already has 3 sacks this season after picking up 4 all of 2010. And this week, the Lions will have the Monday night spotlight when hosting the Chicago Bears. The Dome will be rocking, and a fired-up Vanden Bosch should cause big problems for the Bears quarterback, Jay Cutler, not exactly known for being fleet of feet, let's say. Quarterback Donovan McNabb's days as a starter for Minnesota appear to be dwindling with the team off to an 0-4 start. But if he was ever going to step up with a good game, this could be the week. The Vikings host the Arizona Cardinals in what could be McNabb's last gasp to keep his job. With plenty of weapons around him and a Cardinals defense that ranks in the bottom third of the league against the pass, McNabb could be a good 1-week fill-in at QB, and that'll be the last time you hear that from me. Wide receiver Pierre Garçon's stats have suffered with the loss of Peyton Manning this season, but he showed signs of life in week 4 with 2 long catches, both for touchdowns, in a Monday night loss at Tampa Bay. Curtis Painter should use him as a favorite target this week as the Colts shoot for their first win, hosting the 1-3 Kansas City Chiefs. Now let's look at some guys you might want to avoid starting in week 5. Quarterback Matt Hasselbeck has been a welcome surprise for the Tennessee Titans, but this week's matchup will be tough. The Pittsburgh Steelers are banged up on offense and have lost All-Pro linebacker James Harrison for the next several weeks. Sounds like a trap to me. Pittsburgh needs this game, and the home crowd should have them fired up. Expect a lot of different looks on defense in an effort to force Hasselbeck into mistakes, something he has been prone to do in the past. Running back Knowshon Moreno has apparently lost his job to Willis McGahee in Denver. After averaging 4.3 yards a carry last year, Moreno is down to 2.6 this year on just 10 carries under new coach John Fox's system. Barring an injury to McGahee, Moreno should be a fixture on the bench for any fantasy scoring system. Running back Javad Best has been seeing decreasing carries in each of the last 4 games, largely because the Lions are playing from behind. Last season, outside of one breakout 45-yard run, the Bears held him to 40 yards on 22 carries, and he failed to find the end zone in either game. With the passing game's increased attention in Motown, Best should probably sit this week. Tight end Brent Selleck was a rising star during the 2009 season, but with Michael Vick's emergence at QB, he hasn't been a big part of the offense since. He has just 8 receptions so far this season, as Vick prefers to escape the pocket and either run or look for his speedy wideouts down the field. Finally, running back LeGarrette Blount has been improving each week and topped the 100-yard rushing mark in Tampa's Week 4 win against the Colts. But this week they travel across the country on a short week to play the 49ers, a team that allows an average of 84 yards per game on the ground. If you have another option, you might want to leave Blount on the bench this week. And that's it for this week's Fantasy Football Preview. Good luck.